The land will go as far as Louisiana. It would include almost half of the United States. So it was a very big land, but not enough population to protect it. So when the war will begin between France and England, the 7 Years' War, 1756, this colony will be very vulnerable. And because England will win the war, France will have to give a land. And they will choose to give New France, where not a lot of population, the cold weather. So officially, 1763, by Paris Treaty, New France goes to England. And they want it. It's a good for them because it will be able to control the St. Lawrence River and control the American colonies. Ah, well, there was a strategy there too.
其实最早的时候呢，法国呢是发现了很大片陆地都占领，直到我们的路易斯安那那边，其实半个美国都是法国人控制的当时，但是他们有很多人口，他只有70万的人在这边，所以不能把那些地方发展开来。OK， 当打仗的时候呢，因为没有那么多人，就输了给英国。哈。
We'll get very close at the end of the tour.
Oldest house in Quebec City.
但是呢，它也不能够说很欧洲，因为有些呢还是我们英国的设计。OK， 那在这个房子呢，就是当时在魁北克最古老的房子，1677年建造的哈。但是呢，魁北克这个地方呢，曾经有2次的火灾。
Many of the French that came here were from Normandy. So they build houses like this with very inclined roofs. Because in Normandy, you can have snow falling, but it's going to melt. It's not going to stay on the ground. In Quebec, it doesn't melt. So do you think it's a good idea to have a roof like this here? No, because the snow will fall in front of the door, and you won't be able to come out. Normandy region of France.
法国呢，一般的人呢，他们下雪哈，但是呢，你看到这个楼房的设计是很斜的，因为呢，但是法国下完雪，他们就会
ski jump roofs so that the snow would fall further, and then we'll have a porch, and then the snow would fall further, not in front of the door. So the ski jump roofs will solve that problem.
OK， 后来他们发明的那种底呢，就是这样弯形的，就说那雪掉就会掉远一点，不用堵住自己的门口哈。
We're going to continue. City of Paris, Bordeaux, and Calgary, Alberta. So they're all here. And you will notice the little chairs, and
Sister
everything.
cities, Xi'an in China.
Nobody takes them.
这里呢，就是他们魁北克市的市政厅。然后看到很多的旗帜呢，就是姐妹城市哈，有我们西安，有法国
Naaman, Belgium. Yeah.
还有那个比利时，都是我们魁北克的姐妹城市。
Looking at the blue one, the one after you can't see which one.
Oh, in the back.
Okay.
In the back second.
Yeah, so but you can look at this one too.
Flag of Quebec.
The part that looks like the wall, the white part is that on the flag that you will see that's what you have all around it. The white part means the wall. And the blue, the royal blue, French royal blue.
So the first one is the city flag, the second one is the Quebec.
Yes, that's the province of Quebec flag, and that's Quebec City flag.
OK， 这个呢，蓝色这个金色的船呢 ，OK， 就是这个魁北克市这一个旗帜。那个旗子呢，好像它的伞一样呢，它就是省的旗帜啊。那金色的船呢，就是省泰丹。
Interesting story I have to tell you. As this clock has been in Quebec City since last year. It has more than 3,000 pieces and it's worth $3 million and it's unique to Quebec. Unfortunately, there's a piece of it right now in the mechanism that is not working, so they had to stop the clock right now. And so we're waiting for a piece. Still speak French in Quebec, the Catholic Church.
OK， 那现在为什么他们还是说法语呢？最重要的是因为教堂。
The British kept the Catholic Church, Catholic faith, and the French belongs here to the majority of French speaking to make sure that the French would be loyal to them.
OK， 英国来到这边呢，为了要怎么说？那些想法国人对他们很忠心，所以呢，保留了法国式的教堂这样子，他们可以说法语，在这个教会里面，所以给他们自己的一些传统，让他可以更加忠心对我们英国的统治
Mostly because the French supported the Americans. And the Americans were the enemy of the British then. And so for the Catholic Church, language was equal to faith. If you would stay French speaking, you would stay Catholic. So the church kept us together. And that's why very close to 80% of the population of the province of Quebec has French origins. So the official language is French, even though we learn English also in school. So this church where you are is important. It is the site of the first parish of a diocese that would go as far as Louisiana. If you have parishes in Louisiana, it's because there's parishes in Quebec City. It all began here. And last year we celebrated the 350 years of the first parish. So for that reason, the Archbishop of Quebec became cardinal. So he will be able to vote for the next pope. Also, we have 2 new saints. The first Archbishop, François de Laval, that is inside the church. And also a nun, Mary of the Incarnation, that came for education. So since last year, we have 2 new saints. The Archbishop became cardinal. And we have the only holy door outside of Europe that I will show you. So that's very special. So it shows you that the Catholic Church sees the importance of the Quebec history and the Catholic faith. So this church is a basilica that is a title given by the Pope because of the history of the church, because of the beauty of the church. And a cathedral is when you have an archbishop. We have an archbishop in Quebec City. We have here, this church is a cathedral. So a cathedral is where you have an archbishop. A basilica, it's a title given by the Pope. So you know that this church is both. And it's also the church of the parishioners of this area. So church where you come for Mass, a cathedral, and a basilica. All of that in one. Now, if you look here, you'll see inside. The altar is a replica of St. Peter's of Rome, as you can see. And on top you see a crown that we would see in European churches, but mostly Germany. And it's not pure gold. It's a mix of copper and gold. That's why it's very bright. It's called Dutch gold. Cherry wood here everywhere. And before the 19th century, no objects of the cult, statues, stained glass was made here. It had to come from Europe. So it shows the devotion of the population towards the church that made sure that they would have the money necessary to be able to buy all of these things for the church. And Quebecers are still Catholics, but we don't practice as much as before. The church provided education, provided health care for the longest. But I have to tell you that it wasn't able to take care of everything. So our population didn't have the education that other places had. So that's why in the 60s, the government will take charge and give health care and education to the population. But the church is the major reason why we all are together. So, very important history. We'll go see the Holy
Yes, get rid of your
今年
seat.
教宗12月8号开放线上学历的证号
Holy door. Go touch.
啲做比賽，所以佢個門呢就要好淺嘅，其實因為他這個門很重，因為呢他要確定 你能承受你所有的罪孽，这里在哪边？
摸一下他，把你的罪所有给他们。They don't have to be Catholic to leave their sins on the Lord.
你信不信我都可以信我哈。
Okay.
要照还是拍？
Very well.
It's okay.
Excellent. Okay. We're heading to the lower part, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get very close to the port. We saw it from where we were. Know that for many years it was the 5th port in the world. From the 1800s to the 1860s, the British will come here to get the wood necessary for the construction of the ships. So we'll make of Quebec City a very important city. But afterwards, the ships will be more and more built of steel, and we're not going to be ready for that. So Montreal becomes the big port, and we'll become the small city that we are. So the lower part where we're heading was an area where a lot of people lived that worked for the port. But when the port loses importance, people leave, or people will leave that area to come up. So it will be more or less abandoned. It's not going to be a nice place in the city. But when we'll discover the historical importance of the site, it will restore it. So what you're going to see next is the beginning of the French period of our history. So we're going to cross a gate very soon. So we'll go down.
OK， 这一条呢就是他们最古老的商业街，全部的店面呢都是他们本地魁北克人的商店哈。那也是最早期小片来到这边，在这边呢放皮草的地方。
In the 19th century, when the port was so important, it was the Irish quarter, the ones that worked for the port. And it's the time also of the first Chinese immigration. So in Quebec City, we have Chinese families. The Wu, the Wang are the most famous.
OK， 19世纪在这边呢就有中国人来到这边，那最多人姓吴姓黄。OK， 刚才我们看到就是一间餐馆哈。
Today, the artisans of Quebec settled here in the 1970s, and they formed a co-op with the business people around. So they own the houses that you see, and more than half of the products that I showed you here are made in Quebec. Petit Champlain Street.
1970年开始呢，就魁北克当地的艺术家就在这边自己开店卖东西哈。
And we know that the staircase here was already there the year that Champlain died. And the hill was built during his period.
OK，
Artist.
1999年在这里啊，在这个画 OK 用了6个画家。
3 from France and 3 from Quebec.
3个法国的画家，3个魁北克的画家哈。
And it took only 9 weeks to paint it. So how do they do this?
只需要9个星期就把这个这么大的画画完。他们怎么画的呢？
So do you want to know how it's done? It's included in the price.
你要知道怎么画的吗？他不另外收钱了，告诉你。
You use a projector to project image on the wall.
他用那个投影在那里，投影着来画哈。
But also, they will paint on canvas that will glue to the wall after.
然后呢，还会画在一张纸上面粘上去。
Like the bookstore that we just saw, it's glued to the wall.
OK， 在右手边哈，黄色这一个墙呢，就是粘上去。
People of our history, ordinary people of today, the 4 seasons, one of the gates of the wall city.
OK， 这主要呢是告诉我们魁北克的四季，有一个你看到有个墙那个墙城是那个门，然后呢一些重要的人物。
So in French we call them trompe-l'œil, fool's eye, because you believe it's in 3 dimensions. Right now we're very close. You don't see the 3D effect, but when we get further, you will feel that you can come inside the painting, and that's what we're going to see. So do you feel the 3D effect from here right now? If you look at the measurement glove in his hands, Jacques Cartier.
看到有一个戴着手饰在左手边，那个就是是粘上去的哈，粘上去。因为这个墙呢， 不是平的，所以你离远看是三维的效果，其实它不是平面的哈。这都是粘上去的 ，OK。